Before this video starts, I just want to quickly say thank you. Thank you to everyone who subscribed to Protocol 36. We just reached over 200 subscribers and I seriously cannot tell you how grateful I am. There are so much more things I want to do with this channel and I'm glad I can share it with you guys. So, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. Now, let's begin the video.
Ride till I can't no more. I got the horses in the bag. Horse stock is a tag.
Hi everyone, welcome to Protocol 36. Today's video, I wanted to speculate whether or not Tom Holland's Spider-Man will appear in the newly announced MCU Fantastic Four film. Now, obviously, we haven't heard anything about the film other than the fact that the MCU Spider-Man director Jon Watts will be directing the film, and we haven't got any release date whatsoever. But the fact that Kevin Feige announced it on Thursday at the Disney Investor Day pretty much has a lot of people excited, including myself. So I wanted to speculate whether or not we will see MCU Peter Parker appear in the film. Now I know just because Jon Watts is directing the film and he directed Homecoming, Far From Home and is directing Spider-Man 3, it doesn't mean that Peter Parker will appear in the film. But the reason why I think it's possible that could happen is because Jon Watts and Tom Holland pretty much has a great relationship outside of work, at least that's what it seems like, and the Fantastic Four considers Spider-Man as part of the family and an honorary member of the team, and Tom Holland is scheduled to show up in another MCU film that isn't his own solo film, which could be Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, which at this point I think is very possible and will most likely be the case. Avengers 5 later down the line, or possibly even the Fantastic Four, which I think is also a possibility. Now, if Peter Parker was to appear in the film, I do think it will most likely be a cameo and less of a role, since this will be about the Fantastic Four and about their family, so it would make more sense for Peter Parker to show up as a cameo. And if it was going to show up as a cameo, I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up as one of Johnny Storm's classmates in Empire State University, to show that Johnny Storm and Peter Parker will be in the same class in college, which I do think MCU Peter Parker will be going, since Peter is a scientist and I would want to go into that as his career, so to do that he would have to go to college. And I do think that Johnny Storm in the MCU would be around the same age or similar age range as Peter Parker. In my opinion, that's the only way the friendship could work. They have been best friends in the comics, so in order to make their friendship believable, they would have to cast an actor for Johnny Storm to be around the same age as Tom Holland, and obviously to make the chemistry work as well, because they're pretty much like brothers, to the point that when Johnny Storm quote-unquote died, his dying wish was that Peter Parker needs to be the one to take his place as a member of the Fantastic Four, because how close both of them are in the comics. So it would be cool to see Peter and Johnny meet each other as Peter Parker and Johnny Storm, rather than Spider-Man and Human Torch, with Johnny probably even looking up to Spider-Man as a teenage superhero, who was a teenage superhero and was very much able to, save the day at a very young age, kind of like how in the Ultimate Universe Johnny Storm looked up to Spider-Man as well. So I think something like that would be really, really interesting. I also wouldn't be surprised if they had Peter Parker intern at the Baxter building and have him work under Reed Richards, who pretty much is one of the smartest people in comics. Since Peter Parker is a scientist himself, it would be really interesting and awesome to see them interact in the MCU, recreating that, not as, like the relationship he had with Tony Stark in the MCU, but more so equals, since Peter will be an adult and wouldn't really need a mentor. And Peter would really impress Reed on how extremely intelligent he is, even at a very young age, to the point that he could even rival him one day, which is the case in the comics as well. And also Peter Parker and the Fantastic Four both operate in New York, which is pretty much their turf, even though the Fantastic Four do explore in the negative zone and obviously in space. They are both based in New York, so bringing in Peter Parker would be pretty easy if you think about it. Whether or not Avengers Tower has turned into the Baxter building or not, which is a video for another day. So will Peter Parker appear in the new MCU Fantastic Four film? Personally, I kind of don't think so, though I wouldn't mind it, and I think the only way it could work is if it was a cameo, whether it be a post-credit scene where him and Johnny do actually meet each other and then, build off their friendship from there, or they could even mention him by name and not have him show up, which is also fine, since Peter Parker doesn't really need to be in the film to begin with if the story doesn't require him to be in it. But I think it would be cool, and no matter if Peter Parker is going to be in it or not, Fantastic Four and Spider-Man was something I always wanted to see as a kid, and I cannot wait to see that in the MCU one day, and I'm very excited on what Jon Watts is going to do with Marvel's first family. However, what about you guys? Do you think Spider-Man will be in the new Fantastic Four film? If so, if not, let me know in the comments down below. Don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Twitter. If you enjoyed this video, please like, and what more, subscribe. To begin, Protocol 36.